Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are here on this Halloween to talk to our friend here, Paula, who, of course, and I lost my camera. Paula Howell, can you hear and see me? Hi.
I can. It's nice to see you again.
It's the ghost that be. All right.
Yes, exactly.
Howell Academics is the name of her company. She's an educational counselor, and she's hails from Vancouver, beautiful Vancouver, which I'm dying to go to one day. And she has an amazing job. She's helping so many. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do. And by the way, the website, howellacademics.com, HOWELLACADEMICS.com.
Yes, perfect. You did that better than ever, so I'm not even going to say it again. What do we do? I'm an education consultant that helps families, plan their journey with their child. And we start anywhere from I'm thinking about having a child and I would want this for them if I had that child, all the way down to my child is now looking to expand outside of our nest of our home and start their journey in university. So we do educational planning for families.
And let me ask you this. Now, you've been doing this for quite some time and you're helping so many. Is this your busy season, like now, the fall?
Yes. Today, I would say this week is our busiest week. We have one of our largest schools, WPGA or West Point Grey Academy. Submissions for the early years was yesterday. That finalized. And people are now starting to get their invite for the student assessment. And the other major schools, St. George's, St. John's, Collingwood, those are all due tomorrow as well. So between the idea of, yes, we're in the red group for our assessment, what does that mean? And right down to, okay, let's put the final tweaks on this application. I'm right now in that zone.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're getting through. I know you're working late tonight, right?
I am. So I am spooky in my own self between the idea of typing, communicating, working through all of those transitions today.
Thank you so much. All right, Paula, what did you want to discuss for today? I know there's always an area of focus that we just wing, but in a good wing way.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is you made me think about it when we first got online and I see you got your spooky kind of costume and you said you were going to dress up today. So what is your outfit if you were to dress up today?
Well, it's only because what happened is the past 2 years with my children, again, for those that don't know, they're 7 and 9. They don't want to do the mommy matching me costumes anymore. Like, I did the ketchup mustard. I was the hot dog a few years ago. We've always had matching costumes. And so this is my second year in a row. They don't want to match me. I'm not cool enough. So I found an old costume in the attic. This is like the hood of it, the hat, but it's a candy corn witch. It's a cute little sexy witch costume from like 20 years ago. I wear it with leggings, so it's not as sexy anymore. And that's what I wore, to their trunk or treats. And I'll wear it again today to go trick or treating because it's something. And I love dressing up. I do. But I miss when they were little because now I'm just like all by myself. But it's okay. I like getting festive into the spirit for the children. And I'm excited. I love this holiday. Is it even a holiday? I don't even know. It's just a fun day. Let's put it that way.
I have so kind of admiration for you because I grew up, my mom was, as I talked to you about before, is very Catholic. And she had this idea that Halloween was, not to be celebrated. So when I was younger, I never really dressed up. I never got the idea of Halloween. Now, Paige's father, my ex, has always loved Halloween. So Paige has a tickle trunk of costumes since ever in a day. And, there's mixed ideas for me about Halloween just because of anchoring and different things. But it wasn't until I traveled to Costa Rica and Europe that I kind of learned more about Mexico, different places, about Day of the Dead and understanding how Halloween can be so festive and fun that I really get it more. With that said, the idea of costuming up, and in Vancouver it's cold, costuming up and putting a big jacket on to trick or treat for candy, for me, I'm like, I'm happy to stay home and type it out. With that said, my daughter today had a school theme, a grade theme, and she wanted to dress up as Dracula, right? That's what she wanted to do this year. But the class theme or the grade theme for grade 3 was Minions. And I can imagine what that would look like as a school of a whole bunch of little kids coming in as Minions. But with the idea of inclusivity, they said the classroom theme, the class grade 3 theme, so that'd be about 75 kids, are to be Minions, and that would look cute. So last night, we ended up getting her the Minion costume, and it sat in a bag or the case thing for like 5-6 days. And yesterday she placed it on, and it was super cute. Here, I can probably show you. It looked super cute. But then she was like, Mom, I don't really want to dress up. It's kind of cheesy. I don't want to dress up in it. And then she decided to try it on, and she looked great in it. That's her. There you go.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, how cute is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is adorable.
Yeah. So she decided she'd dress up as the Minion. But here's the thing.
Wow.
And there's a group of parents for grade 3, which I hardly ever kind of connect with because it's WeChat and they speak in Mandarin like on it. And I need to translate it. But I sent a message to the group last night and I say to them, are you guys all dressing up as Minions? Right? And then the one mom who ended up writing back, the only one mom who ended up writing back, she said, no, my son doesn't like Minions. And I'm going, oh my God. So my fear this morning, so I get to this parking lot at the school, okay? And I'm like, Paige, it's a grade 3 theme. You should be inclusive. Like, I support the idea you want to be Dracula. Maybe when you go out tonight with Dad, you can put the Dracula one on. But your classroom theme and your school theme is Minions, okay? So we pull up into the driveway today. Well, the driveway roundabout that you're supposed to drop off. And I don't see any Minions. I'm not seeing any Minions. Maybe they all got there early today. I don't really know, okay? But I'm not seeing any Minions for this whole math grade 3 were Minions. Okay, I should have seen at least one other Minion.
Oh yeah.
Of 75 kids. I should have seen them.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I'm sitting by my phone all day today, this morning, waiting for like some sort of like message from someone to tell me they dressed their child up as a Minion too, but I'm not getting it. So in my mind, I'm sitting here wondering.
I'm panicking.
What? Yes. Because although costume, as you saw, is super cute, I'm not sure, I'm going, okay, is she going to be the only Minion? And she wanted to be a Dracula, right? She ended up putting in the Dracula teeth. Anyway.
Oh, unique.
I said, well, maybe you're a Dracula Minion.
You are unique. That is awesome.
So I'm sitting here with that panic. So I think where the segue comes in is that how often do we try to dress our kids up into be something different so that they can fit in?
Mm-hmm. So right? True. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and now wait, do you know if anyone else in the class did the dress up? You don't know yet.
No, I don't know. And I'm going, well, I'm not picking her up from school today, so her dad will need to deal with whatever that ends up being. I did. I thought about that. I thought about the idea that one, I think deep down inside, I've always wanted to dress up, right, so to speak. And I never really have. I guess for one party I did when Paige was, when I was a teacher long wind ago there, the school had like a Halloween party. And my costume of choice was, do you remember that show, Police Academy?
Of course I do. Show? Yes. Yeah, that was so funny. 80s.
So funny. And I dressed up as one of the police officers, that one that was, I can't remember what her name was. She was that blonde one, and she was kind of really aggressive, and she looked really feminine, but she was actually very aggressive and strong. Remember in that show? I can't remember her name, but anyways, I dressed up as that, and I enjoyed the process of dressing up. I always think it brings out our pseudo selves. But it was interesting. I think the biggest thing is that when we think about the idea of costume and what our children pick, do you think there's any correlation between that?
Yeah, I think so, right? Because, I forced my kids, I used to make them dress like me in a sense, but I think we have an influence over them as parents, right? Or their friends do. So I think I think it's more of like what they see though on TV and what their friends are being and all that compared to what I think it's, but it's so cute at what age is it now that they do start making their own decisions like this? Like kindergarten first. Okay. First grade, I guess my son started having an opinion about what they wanted to wear. So, right? I mean, what age did Paige dress up what she wanted to until what year? Like
always. So, from as long as I can remember, Paige has always, because James has always been very much into Halloween. He loves costumes.
Oh my gosh.
So it's always been like when she was 2, it was like, take her to the costume shop, right? And just let her go nuts in the costume shop. And they're all like, so like I don't know if they do that there. I'm sure they do, but they have like warehouses that just open weeks before Halloween. And then they are just open for those weeks. And then kids just go into a plethora of costume play, right? Warehouses. And then they close like 3 days after Halloween, and that's it. So it's like a tickle trunk of all of these different ideas. Now the last couple years, I would say, she's a combination between, cutesy pretty and Dracula, or, so there's a combination between the two things. She's been Ladybug before, which was like that ladybug that was a superpower lady, the superpower hero. She's been Batman. She's been many different things that are all like beyond the regular everyday superhero, but a combination of things.
Well,
so,
I guess she also has her dad's influence, which is big into the holidays. So that's all right. Oh my gosh, I forgot what we were even talking about. Wait, influence, right? Like, is the parent?
I think that's her ultimate idea, is about the idea of influence, and how do we get our kids to, and do we try to mold that?
Oh gosh, I get guilty. I did try, and now I gave up.
Yeah.
So, like her dad will try and do, but there could be a point where she's like, it's not cool anymore. My friends aren't doing it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And we'll see, right? So I think, and then always the moral compass of, I was listening to a little bit of a sketch this morning while I was getting ready, and a guy was saying, it's the one time of year that we as parents kind of throw out all of our safety things out the window. Hey, you know what? Just go to a stranger. Do you want some candy? Here you go. Like, it's our one time that we throw those ideas out, that we're not going to let our kids take candy from strangers, right? But this is the time of year that we allow them to do that. So there are so many contradictions sometimes in the idea of what we try to employ in our children in morality and values and goals. And I think that when we say today, like, we're looking at, admission season, and we're looking at those final stages towards applying and kind of giving our opportunity to express, and then we're waiting. Are we going to get that spot for the assessment?
Yeah.
We're judging, we're looking, we're seeing if we played the right part, if we dressed up properly, all of these things, right? So it is a very interesting thing to think about.
It is. And you know what? It's funny because then I feel bad. Like, there's some kids in my son's class that I'm not sure what nationality they are, but they don't believe in, so I'm like, oh my God, is this normal for them? Are they going to be okay? Like, and he's like, oh, Mustafa's fine. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but is he really? Is he going to be traumatized because all the kids, he's new and he's not from here? And it's like, oh my gosh. And like, he's not allowed to dress up, but that's okay for him. But is he going to feel weird going home? Is he going to cry today? Like, because he can't trick or treat? And I don't know those answers, but your heart goes out.
I do. Like, I can tell you, like, I remember very, very, very distinctly. It was for me, it was grade 2, I believe. And I was in the washroom, and there was the mirror. I remember very distinctively, and I was washing my hands, and 3 girls, it was Halloween day. And my mom actually kept me home every Halloween so that I wouldn't have to be part of that process. And I remember that year, it was grade 3. And I don't know what the reason was, but I was at school that year. And I remember very, very, very transparently, like, washing my hands in the washroom, and in the mirror watching, there was a butterfly, there was a princess, and there was a pretend teacher coming out of the washroom. Like, kids were dressed up in these roles, and they were like giggling and laughing. And then they said, "What are you dressed up as?" And I remember standing there going, myself, right? Yeah. And it was so weird because I thought they would have recognized that I wasn't in costume.
Yeah, got it.
Like it was a weird, like, I remember it very deeply. Like, I remember it very deeply that it was like, why did they ask me that? Like, can't they see that I'm not dressed up? And it was interesting because I remember now, my mother had said, I'm going to stop not sending you to school because it's Halloween, right? Because her idea at that time was that I should kind of be a messenger to tell people why I'm not dressing up, right? And I had to learn that process in her mind. So it was interesting when I remember that image of them saying to me, like, what are you dressed up as? And I do remember that feeling of, what do you mean? Me, right? And just that idea of, why don't you know it's just me? Mm-hmm. Right? And that's the biggest thing that I still continue to take out of the idea of Halloween or dressing up in general, is that there's a point in time when we have to wonder and ask ourselves, what are people seeing when they see you? Are they actually really seeing you? So Paige dresses up as a minion today to try to fit in with what was supposed to be the grade 3 cohort, right? Mm-hmm. But she threw in Dracula teeth, right? And maybe she's the only minion because some parents were like, no, my kid wanted to be X, Y, and Z, so I didn't put them in the minion costume. And I kind of just wonder, like really and truly, what is that perception of how we identify as ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just, it's an interesting kind of like play on that idea. So when you talked about that child, I don't wonder what they think. I just wonder in general what we're employing in them, or what was employed in myself. The idea of costumes, like you said, was fun and exciting, and all of those ideas, right? Like you just put it on, you could be a new person, just play a game, play a role in it. But it was such a big thing for me as a child when it was the idea of putting on a costume meant that you were changing who you are for a day. And most Halloween costumes are scary or mean or evil. In fact, what my mother used to always see, they were like a skeleton, a villain, or so. Or like a bad princess or naughty princess. Like it was always like looked at as it was a bad,
derogatory type of thing. Yeah, even though you could be a cute minion or a cute something. But,
yes, right.
But how did that make you feel? As a student, as a child, you were okay after those girls said that to you, and you were okay, or did you feel hurt? Like.
No, I think what I didn't. I can remember that I didn't have an emotion of feeling hurt or not. I had an emotion of feeling unseen. Got it.
Wow.
Right?
That's big.
I was like, remember, my mother told me to go to school that day so that I could show that I was, a good Christian or Catholic, whatever. Right? I was kind of looking at it from that regard. But when the kids asked me, when I saw them and I remember it very clearly, like I'm washing my hands and I'm watching them have fun in this process. And when they stopped giggling and talking and turned and said, what are you dressed up as? Mm-hmm. Wasn't like, you're not dressed up. It wasn't like, why aren't you dressed? It wasn't, why aren't you not dressed up? Like it wasn't, why are you not dressed up? It was, what are you dressed up as?
Yeah.
Right? Do you get the difference, like linguistically?
No, I get it.
In my mind, I was like, but I'm not dressed up. Mm-hmm. Right? This is me. I'm not dressed up. So I think, because it was just a regular outfit. Like I was like, what do you mean? I'm not dressed up. Yeah. Right? That thought to me still is imprinted in the idea. Like you could show up as you every day, but people can consistently think you're dressed up.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the message. So yes, kids can come and they can do that. They can dress up as the Barbie today. They can dress up as the superhero. They can do that. And people can say, you're the superhero today. You're this. But when they are just themselves, they don't see them.
Oh, that's so sad.
Right? Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. Like I'm just processing this with you right now. So what I'm saying to you is that it's an interesting idea for me, the concept of Halloween. And I guess that's why maybe it's still one of those things that I really still think about in the bigger scale of it. Mm-hmm. What are we dressing up as? Who are we as people? What are we showing? And maybe that's why the quote has always been my favorite. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. Right?
Beautiful. No, yeah.
And I always look at it that way.
Well, I love the fact that you can see that and maybe you still don't want to dress up or believe in dressing up in a sense, but you're letting your daughter choose what she wants to do. I
don't have any problem with dressing up. I just don't get the thrill out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can go into those stores and I can see all the costumes, but I don't get the thrill of the costume. Like I don't get the idea of the thrill. And I think it's because if you revert back on a psychological level, I still feel that if I put that costume on, I'm not, because I think when I look at it now, that if I put that costume on, it doesn't really change your identity of who you are.
Yeah, I get it.
It's just a temporary costume. So I think for me, I don't see the relevance of doing that.
Got it.
Like I don't feel that same excitement. But I love and marvel how she is like, into it. Like I had when those old Facebooks, when they come up and you look at your memories, whatever, right? And I think the memory was her as last year, 2 years ago, she was like a witch. And I just remember her jumping off the stairs. I had one that she jumped off the stairs and she was a witch, and it just looked so cute because she had a broomstick and she had all these things and she jumped off, and there was so much enthusiasm for her to dress up. Like this morning, she even woke up really early just to get ready in costume. And
my son had a timer on the iPad since yesterday, and he was watching
it's
it.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. And then I had to take his brother to the City MD last night. He has a concussion from football, but all he kept saying, "Well, are we going to miss Halloween?" And he asked he asked the doctor, like the poor kid's being checked out for a concussion, and so is he going to miss Halloween? Can he still trick or treat? I'm like, okay, that's more important things, but in his mind, and he's there with his tracker sitting there. It was really cute.
Like, let me ask you this pressing question. Do you still have trick-or-treat candy from last year?
No, I have it for many months, and then I finally got rid of it. But I hate that. It's such a waste. Like, we've already been to like 3 trunk-or-treats at the church, at there's schools. And then the stuff I bought at Costco, there's just way too much, and it's not all going to go. And this year I purposely bought just big bars, so everyone gets like a big bar. So there's 180 bars I have, right? That should be enough. If not, I have extra candy in case, but I know I'm going to end up with like half of that. I know it, and it just bothers me because it's a waste.
Yeah, it's so strange, right? Like there's...
and they don't even eat half the stuff they get.
Yeah, but they don't want also. Like last year, Paige came home with her trick-or-treating bag, and she dumped it out on the counter, and it's almost like a blizzard like win, right? And she was like going through, and all she sees is, she goes like, the pencil.
Yeah.
And she checks it, and she's like, what is this? This is like not part of Halloween. Why is somebody using a pencil? But yeah, like some people are super creative too on my street. They have they've made little bags of like pencils and pads and stamps. But Paige just walks like right past those and like, this is not trick-or-treating, right? So it's interesting because I still have, I think there's one tiny little jar left still of candy from last year that's still there. And it's interesting because you're right, there's so much candy. It's a year of like getting all of that candy. So yeah. And what are your ideas about when people give random things that are different, like goodie bags or...
I love the goodie bags. I do love goodie bags. I'm a fan of that, and like a bag of chips. So this year I did the candy bars. Next year I'm doing just the bag of Lay's chips. It's always hot.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I did get to take part in. So although I didn't get to dress up, the chip bags, my mom used to always buy the little chip bags. And during that time of year, Halloween, because we ate very healthy when I was growing up, and I always remember that day in my lunchbox.
Oh, you get the special bag of chips. I would always
get the chip bags, or I get a bit of candy or something so that I could be part of that process. So I always felt like I wasn't robbed of that part of the experience.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
The idea of that. So yeah, it's interesting.
You get a special treat. I think that's important. Interesting. All right. Well, we have 3 minutes left on the show, and I love how we just randomly talk about things. You're awesome.
Yes, I do too.
You're so sweet. You're awesome. And, here you are, you have a business to promote, and we just like chatting. I love it. But it's, you're like my new friend. And if I ever come to Vancouver, I've never been.
Look me up.
Like, I don't even know like where to stay, what to do, like with the kids, but there's stuff for kids, right?
There's tons of things. Like, I think it's a different city. Like one of the great things about Vancouver, when you do come to here, and you can look me up definitely, is that it's a beautiful city where the city is nestled within nature. And that's what it always stands out, that you can go right down to the downtown core and you're right beside the most beautiful forest, right? Or, there's great places if you take the ferry, 20 minutes, and the ferry can take you to a gorgeous island that's not too far away. And it's like you literally went from city to greenery landscape. But then with that said, there are amazing things to see, like the science world, the aquariums, then there's the bridges, and there's all of those wonderful things to do and see while you're here, that it is a very different environment. So I think for that accord, that it's definitely a place for you to kind of come with family and see it that way and explore it.
And then like outskirts of the city itself, it's beautiful, right?
I think it's more beautiful the outskirts. Like I find every place or province has that, but BC has the most of the Canadian provinces are very flat, but BC has the mountains, and that's what the allure is. So we have the mountains, right, as our backdrop, and the ocean. So it's kind of like the forest, the nature, the oceans, the mountains, the seasons, and then you've actually got these little islands that you can go to that are just a monopoly of things to do and explore. So that's the allure of Vancouver, and that's why, the private world in Vancouver is very different, because it's kind of the idea of most of the private schools, where I think it varies in other states or provinces, is that the parents do a lot of like collective things together. Like my daughter yesterday went to a symphony, right? And when she went to the symphony with all of the students, all the private schools were there that day. They rented out the whole Orpheum, all the private schools, for that event. But they all ended up spending time together, right? Afterwards. And then they went to the Stanley Park because it's downtown. So it was interesting where there's always that combination of the city with nature. So there's ability for them to be exposed to nature with the city life.
Beautiful. And that's the allure. Well, thank you so much. How do we contact you?
Well, it's www.howellacademics.com, and it's 778-628-0204. So if you're on the path right now, you're in that limbo today from submitting your application and waiting for outcome, you're now considering interview prep. It's all about how you share your story, your brand, who you are, your ideas, your beliefs. Send me a message, give me a call, and I would be happy to walk you through that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Looking forward to the next time we connect. You have a great day. I hope Paige enjoys her day and you enjoy your work, and we'll catch up next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.